Hello. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. How's the audio? Everybody who's in here? Give me a 1.
Shows us live. Okay.
We already got a couple thumbs up. We're out here at the lake. This is we got a few people in here already. We got Liberty Snake Bear. We got Sparky OG giving us a 1. Okay, so we're good. Are we still good now?
We're scooting a little bit.
How's the audio? Audio's good. Okay, audio's good. If audio's good, okay, good. Audio's good.
Hey guys,
wake up, Pennsylvania. Yeah, hey, Liberty Snake, what's going on? This is Wake Up Pennsylvania. We're doing this on my stream, on my channel, because we no longer have the luxury of Hangouts, but that's fine. You know, Hangouts was pretty good. Let us do some great stuff, but then we decided that we're just going to probably split it up into 2 different channels.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it like that now. Hangouts is no longer a thing, so what we're gonna have to do is probably get some software and things like that so that we're rarely together. You seeing us together, this is like a unicorn right now. So in the future, we're gonna keep it going, but we're probably gonna split it up between 2 channels, maybe have a couple of different podcasts, and we'll keep it going now. And we're glad that you're all here, and we're glad that we're here.
Well, for formal introductions, for anybody who might not know, I am Mike Bison, and this is my baby brother, Inspector. And we already have a question about the ankle, so we were going to talk about the Inspector's ankle. So, Inspector, why don't you let everybody know about the ankle?
Okay.
And also put your cop shades down.
You're on all right. Now that I'm not reading chat because it is extremely bright out here, I broke my ankle. Not just my ankle, my heel. I was hanging out at my hotel. I work on the road, and I was at the hotel, and I was hanging out around the pool, and I was going to walk around the corner of the pool, if you can imagine, and I already had a sprained ankle on the other ankle, which doesn't help, but I was going to walk around the corner, and I started to stumble and fall, and I was going to fall in the pool. Normally, the old 18-year-old me would have took a bounding leap across the corner and landed on the sidewalk and walked away and gave everybody high fives and thumbs up and things, but didn't happen that way. I bounded across the corner and didn't make it, and basically jammed my heel into the corner of the pool and completely crushed my heel, and still got wet and fell in the pool. So it's that happened on July 2nd, and it is now 3 months later, and I've been through 3 surgeries. I had an external fixator on my foot, which is like a giant bird cage that you have around your leg that has a bunch of pins going through your feet and your legs, or your leg, and it was awful and very painful. I didn't sleep for 5 weeks, and then I had 1 cast. Now I'm on to another cast. Here, I'll show you guys if you want to see it. There's my leg. And I'm off work, obviously, for obvious reasons. And now I'm out here spending a little time with my brother. He's taking care of me, picking up after me, seeing me naked.
Get him a new haircut.
Got me a new haircut. I'm like this freaking baby doll out here. He made me shave a mustache onto my face, which is... I think it looks stupid, but he thinks I'm sexy as shit. And that's where I'm at. So that's what's going on. I'm healing well.
I'm gonna give it up to I'm gonna leave it up to the chat. What do you guys think about the Inspector's new haircut? And
we gotta get the cop shades on though.
And the cop mustache here. I like it. I think it looks great. I think it's a good look for him. But I'll let you guys add in anything. I'm not gonna lie, man, I was a little bit worried about you there. You kind of fell off the planet Earth there whenever you first broke your leg. You know, you were in a rough spot. You know what I mean? I'm glad to see that you're doing good again. And
I wasn't talking to most people. I was basically, I just fell off the face of the earth on purpose because I was just embarrassed, and I didn't feel like talking to anybody. I was really depressed, and now shit's getting better, going up
on his way up. So basically what we wanted to talk to you about today is we wanted to give you guys just some basic stuff to talk about, but our main thing we wanted to talk today about was the argument of empathy versus sympathy. We'll get into that later, but we have some other little fun. That's kind of a serious topic, and we're going to get into some other. We had some other stuff. This just kind of fun and whatever to kind of talk about beforehand, like bars. When you go to a bar, you pay to entertain yourself, like jukeboxes and stuff like that. And my brother's under the assumption that's kind of a ripoff. You wanna?
Well, I think it's a ripoff due to the fact that you're paying sometimes upwards of $5 for a bottle of beer, but then you have to go to the jukebox and pay $1, a full buck for a song, one song. And there's the shots are expensive as shit. Nothing good is ever going to come out of a bar room. Our dad told us that whenever we were growing up. Nothing good ever comes out of a bar room. I've never met a good woman in a bar room. I mean, I've met lots of women, trust me, but not good ones. I just think that bars are a complete ripoff. I think that you could have just as much fun at home or more fun for way less money. You can listen to all the music you want to on YouTube. You can drink, I don't know, what do we pay for a Bud Light whenever you buy it for a 30-pack, like $1 or less, It's just, I think bars are just a total fucking scam. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, bars suck. You know what I mean? I mean, it's sometimes it's kind of necessary to it's kind of necessary to get out of the house every once in a while. Like, that's why we went last night, because he was like, hey man, let's go get something to eat. Let's go somewhere, because he's just been sitting inside and kind of cooped up. I mean, I'm still running around, going here, going there, going to work. It's nice for me to come home and just like relax in the new house, but,
So Sergeant Peterson says, I've met my wife of 20 years in a bar. Okay. Well,
congratulations. You're the congratulations. You're the outlier.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sarge. No, that's cool. I mean, there's obviously, like you say, outliers in every situation. I just think that somebody says, who said that? Andrew Kelly says, that's what diners are for in church. Okay. Yeah, you could definitely find a girl to take home at church.
Sure, absolutely.
I don't know how to strike up a conversation with a chick at a diner.
Hey, can you pass the salt?
Okay, all right.
Start something simple. You know what I mean? Just be simple. It doesn't always have to be some kind of like whack ass pickup line. Like how much does a polar bear weigh? Just enough to break the ice. But
bars are communal, and they know you will buy beer no matter the cost, says Liberty Steak. Yeah, they are. That's one thing that's different, is you're going to have a lot of people there that you don't know. But if you develop a community of cool people that want to come over to your house and hang out and smoke some chicken or something,
Yeah, which is what we did the other night. I got my smoker running, and anybody that follows me on Instagram, Mike_Bison5, and went to my story, saw that I posted up some picked up some chicken, and I had this really good there's this, we call it Lighthouse Chicken. It's a place where we go fishing every year. There's a little store down the road called the Lighthouse, and they sell these really, really good rotisserie chickens. And they also, I found their rub. They have their rub, their dry rub that they put on on the chicken, and it was awesome. So I did that, and it was real simple. And then I took some jalapenos that my buddy grew from his garden, and threw some cream cheese together with some garlic and some breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs, stuffed those, and wrapped them in bacon, and they turned out phenomenal. I think I'm gonna change the recipe up a little bit next time.
Add a little Parmesan, maybe
a little parm. Maybe I was actually thinking about cutting up some black olives and putting them in there with some horseradish and some parm. Get that going.
Some of that dried beef.
Well, the bacon would make that kind of dried beef thing, and it'd be like a cheese ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be real good. You will not get a disease Damn, that chicken and peppers look delicious. Yeah, thanks, Liberty Snake Bear. It legitimately took no effort whatsoever. It took no effort whatsoever.
Well, he made so much of that chicken. We've been eating it like all the time.
Yeah,
it's kind of just in the fridge, and we'll just pull it out a little bit and heat it up.
I think it's a good way, to. It's definitely a good way to cook a bunch of food for yourself. Like, people are all into meal prepping, but if you take, that's one way to do it. Plus you have delicious food. You know what I mean? And you can do, but you have to do a big batch of stuff. So it's either you're doing it for a party or you're doing it for a bunch of
for lunch for all week.
Lunch for all week. You know what I mean? And I only had 3 racks going. So, and there's probably, there's enough.
There's what, 6 racks in that
6
smoker?
or 7. Yeah, there's a lot of racks. You could do a lot of stuff at one clip. I didn't really post a picture of it, but there was also cheesy mashed potatoes and candied carrots.
Yeah.
And
done in the microwave.
Candied carrots were done in the microwave.
And they were just as good.
Dude, I was the only thing I don't have cinnamon. So I need to get some cinnamon.
That's a fucking problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. You need to have cinnamon. Anywho, so yeah, that takes me to dinner plans tonight. I was thinking about doing some stuff in the smoker again, because we're almost out of chicken. So I was thinking, I don't know. I was thinking either some pork tenderloin.
Yeah.
Pork tenderloin probably would be good.
Absolutely.
Can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. If anybody else has any suggestions on what I should do in the smoker tonight, please throw it into the chat. I'm all in for definitely. I'm getting back into cooking again. I like to cook a lot. I just haven't had any motivation. But recently it's been.
So we're asking people to give us suggestions. That this is a good time for us to do shout outs.
Go ahead.
We got Sparky OG was the first one in. Love you, Sparks. Liberty Snake Bear, glad to see you. Saucin, glad to see you. Minuteman, what's up, buddy? How's it going over there in the UK? Michelle M. I don't know who that is, but she says she's in Pennsylvania too. Awesome. Great place to live. Andrew Kelly, as always. Sergeant Peterson, of course. One of our fucking regs. Steve Pender, what's up, my man? And you have anybody else?
Bedros Peter Bedrosian.
What up, Peter?
Actually, I think it's time to do this. Keep talking.
Okay, that's everybody. But yeah, we've been out of the game for a little bit, but we're just we're just glad to be here, we'll say.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, we've been doing a lot of jamming since my brother's been out here. I like to play guitar. I'm not really that great, but my brother's very good guitar player, very good, talented musician of all kinds. And so I always take the opportunity to burn my fingers out whenever he's here. We do a lot of, yeah.
They're all pink and puffy.
Yeah, they're all hurting and stuff, but that's good. You know what I mean? Get back on that horse, boys. Absolutely. We might do a music stream one day. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
It's funny. It's like that band that was setting up. We left that bar last night before the band even turned on. But
well, that's kind of the reason that I wanted to talk about being at a bar, is because we put a bunch of for a reason sat next to the jukebox. The band wasn't coming on for an hour and a half. We pumped like $8 into that jukebox, put a bunch of our favorite songs on, and then the band comes in and they set up. They weren't even playing yet. And they set up their fucking music and totally overpowered the jukebox to where we couldn't even hear it. So we wasted money on that. And
Jesse was upset. My brother was upset.
Well, fucking upset, man.
A little upset, but that's fine. You know what I mean? I just recently got a ukulele.
Yeah, ukulele. We've been playing ukuleles. Both of us play guitar. He plays ukulele. I play harmonica, and he also has this little beatbox. This little it's like sort of like a bongo kind of thingy. It's fun to play.
Hey, tell the story about getting your harmonica back.
Oh, yeah, my So I was staying at my mom's house whenever I first messed myself up real bad, and I had my harmonica there, my $60 Hohner Marine Corps Band C harmonica, which is it's like a great harmonica. It's wonderful. Frankly, it's a great harmonica. The people at Honer, frankly, wonderful people. But my mom gives my freaking harmonica to my niece,
who's 7.
who's 7. So I see her with it, and I go, "Hey, buddy, who gave you that?" "Oh, Grammy." "Oh, okay. Well, hey, can I see that for a second?" "Mine. You're not getting that one back." But I said, and she got a little upset. And I said, "Listen, whenever I go out, I'll get you a harmonica, and I'll bring it back to you." So we got her a $10 harmonica. I did. C harmonica. I was playing it the other night. Turns out, just as good as the $60 harmonica.
I wouldn't say it's just as good.
It for me, I mean, it's fine. Whenever I got it back though, I was looking like, is there gonna be little pieces of pizza and shit in here? You know, like are the reeds gonna be all fucked up, bunch of little kids spit in it? But turns out just fine.
Totally just fine. Yeah, so which kind of brings us to our next point, or our next topic that we wanted to talk about. We wanted to talk about the total lack of Hangouts now and how totally whack that is.
And it's a bummer.
It's a serious bummer. Like, it's not good. We had a great thing going. And I have a theory. I don't know what, like, my brother has a theory about why they did it, and I'm kind of starting to be on board. That they just, you know, it was too easily accessible. It was too much of a line of communication. And if you go back into our old streams, you'll hear me say about like people are saying, "Oh, you know, communication and the freedom of speech and everything like that." And I said, "This is the bar top." You know, back in the day, the
soapbox.
Well, like if you think about it like this, right? The
Town Square.
American Revolution started in bars. Okay, it started where it was a communal meeting place where people, you know, got together and talked about different ideas and shared different ideas, and because they didn't have freedom of speech, they didn't have freedom to, you know, what was it? What's the freedom of congregation? No.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking?
Assembly.
Freedom of assembly, stuff like that. But they could do it in a bar, so that's where they talked about all these ideas. You know. Well, Hangouts was just the modern bar. It was just the modern, you know, freedom, the modern place where people could communicate really easily. I mean, if two morons like us can do it, you know, yeah, back then they had wives, so they weren't looking for poon. Yeah, they were out getting some beers and talking about freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that so the thing about Hangouts disappearing too, when has there ever been technology that just disappeared? Like they were just like, well, this thing was too great, so we had to get rid of it.
Generally, there would be something better to replace it. That's my understanding of technology, is whenever one technology goes away, another technology that's better, more efficient, replaces it. Maybe we're just technically retarded, which we are, but it was so easy for us to do that. And now there is nothing to replace. What's up?
Sauce said moon landing tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of talk about to off of a piggyback off of that. Jesse had the weird halo thing around his leg. I was like, boy, that's tough material. That's tough stuff. That's the same, made of the same materials that we used to send men to the moon and back. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, yeah, tough stuff. But me and my brother were the only ones that ran on the joke. Kind of. No one's ever been to the moon. Anyway,
so
anyway, yeah. So Hangouts. I mean, what are your thoughts that Hangouts?
I honestly, it's just my personal opinion, and nobody gives a fuck what I have to say anyway. But I think that they knew that people like us were using it to communicate and to stream and do that. And I just think that there was a lot of voices on there that they wanted to silence, and that's exactly what they did. I think they probably were listening in on a lot of our conversations, not our personal, like not just us. Like there's other groups like us out there. I think that they were listening in on our conversations and said, we need to shut these motherfuckers up.
We need to shut these people down. We can't make it so easy for these people to just communicate. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It makes a lot of sense to me. Like why didn't a better version of Hangouts come out?
Yeah. Why would Google like just get rid of one of its most important like communication devices? Easiest communication. Businesses we're probably able to use that. Maybe that might have something else to do. I mean, I don't know.
And I don't know if you guys are on Discord or not, but Discord sucks so bad. I hate Discord so much, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
It's hard to use.
It's cool that we can still get a hold of you guys and talk to you and stuff, but it's not fun for me.
Yeah, I'm not into that at all. So yeah, that's the thing about Hangouts. Now on to another thing. Jesse, you wanted to talk about being naked in front of strangers as opposed to being naked in front of your family.
Yeah.
So go ahead. You want to expand on that?
Yeah. So there's different times whenever you're comfortable being naked around people. So for instance, whenever I first injured myself and went into the emergency room, I was in a bed with my broken foot and I was bleeding everywhere and I was on morphine, and the nurse was standing right next to me, a male nurse, and he's like, yeah, you got to get into this robe. And I just fucking started stripping down, getting naked, right? And the person who was with me, my ex-girlfriend, was like, don't you want him to leave? And I'm like, he's seen one. You know, I was totally comfortable being butt naked in front of this guy. Now, fast forward, here we are at my brother's house, and I can't shower. So I have to bathe myself with these wipes, you know. I still keep clean, but I will get butt ass naked in front of him. He's seen it all. I mean, he even told me yesterday that I had a nice butt. Normally, I would not be comfortable stripping down butt ass naked in front of my brother, but due to my circumstance, okay. Now, conversely, right now, to get completely butt ass naked in front of a complete stranger, I would feel so weird. But if I was totally healthy, I have no problem getting naked in front of anybody. I'll show anybody my dick, but not my family. I will never get naked in front of my mom or my dad or my sister or my brother on purpose, you know.
But yeah, he was giving himself a field bath. He was giving himself one of those wipe down baths. And we just kept, he's like, hey man, do you mind if I like just do this here or whatever? And I was like, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Do whatever you want. We just kept the conversation going while I, just put up the blinders on one side and just kind of, took it all, let him talk. I'm hearing Mexican shower. I'm hearing field shower.
Being a Jew makes me nervous of group showers.
That's weird. Anyway. Yeah, so I like I said, I don't care. I mean, I've seen I don't know if I've ever seen.
Well, it's almost like whenever I'm healthy and I'm like, say we're out at a bonfire party, I don't mind getting naked in front of everybody. It doesn't bother. But if my mom or my sister or my brother was there, I would be apprehensive.
That's really weird.
I know.
It's very strange. You shouldn't get naked in front of random people, brother. You just shouldn't do it.
Sometimes you got to show off your bod, you know?
Yeah, the 6 million. 6 million does seem high. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. We wanted to talk about what else? Bars that entertain you. Dinner plans. Inspector's got his leg. We talked about music. Deer season's quickly approaching here, and in certain parts of Pennsylvania, it is already here. It's already going on in certain parts of Pennsylvania. But October 5th starts the big game season starts
deer.
Deer starts October 5th. Deer archery starts here. And I recently made a new purchase, which I've always shot compound bow for the past 4 or 5 years that I've been archery hunting. But I recently made a new purchase, and I'm going to go ahead and break it out and show the people.
Let's do it. Yeah, Joe got himself a bitch bow, as I call them. But hey, it's in the rule book. You're allowed to use them, and they are highly, highly effective.
Bam. Did I come up? Am I up there?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. Yeah. Center point 415 amped. I got this as a pretty good deal. Got a pretty good deal on this at Dunham Sporting Goods, because I won't shop at Dick's or anything like that anymore. But it's pretty nice. So I mean, it's pretty wet. It's not super heavy. It's not super light. It's got 2 cams.
It's heavy enough to be accurate.
Heavy enough to be accurate. It's not like you're going to be humping it around like Daryl from The Walking Dead, which is a complete
Bullshit.
Complete bullshit.
Fucking, if you guys have ever watched The Walking Dead, it is out of control how they like portray Daryl as just running around. He'd shoot one shot and then he would be zombie lunch. Like, no fucking way would anybody be able to use a crossbow like that. If I'm wrong, please tell me.
No, it's not the rapid fire. It's not the rapid fire zombie killer that they portray it to be in The Walking Dead. It just isn't. You know what I mean? One shot, very accurate. And see, that's the thing. I'm not really trying too hard as far as, like, people are like, oh, you know, you're just not going to get the same experience. You're not going to have the same, you know. Here's the thing. I enjoy sitting I enjoy sitting in the woods in a tree stand through archery season, especially at the beginning of the season. You just start to see the leaves change, you know, all the way to the end of season when it's snowing and all the leaves are gone, and you know, just the changes that you see in nature. You know, that to me is the fun part. Killing a deer is, I just feel like it's the most ethical way to do it in archery season is to use a crossbow because they're so accurate. I mean, that thing shoots 415 feet per second. If you hit a deer, I mean, if you shoot what you're pulling, what, 70 pounds? Are you at full?
60, and I have two bows, 60 and 70.
So 60 pounds and 70 pounds is what you're pulling on that. That's 200 pounds that's pulling. Okay. 415 feet per second coming out of that crossbow.
I'm lucky if I'm breaking 300.
Extremely accurate. If he's breaking 300, it's amazing. You know what I mean? And let's be real. You know, the flex in the longer arrow, because contrary to what people, if you don't know this, when an arrow comes out of a bow, it has flex, right? So it's actually doing this as it's moving along. Its path. Okay, that arrow hits a twig or a branch or something, that it's going to completely send the course of that arrow wrong. You know what I mean? Look, now contrast that with the bolt that comes out of a crossbow. It's smaller. It's
less flex.
There's less flex. Rigid. It's very rigid. You know what I mean? It's very, very, very accurate, and that's why I like it. You know what I mean?
Well, the way I see it, there's two kinds of people that hunt. There's people that hunt for meat, and there's people that hunt for sport. Sometimes they overlap, but if it doesn't matter what you're out there for. You can still enjoy the woods. You can still enjoy seeing the animals and the nature environment, things like that. But for a guy like me, I'm more of a sport. I love the meat. I have a freezer full of it right now that I just love to eat. But it's whether you're out there for meat. If you're out there for meat, use every advantage you can get in the rule book. Use every single advantage. If you're out there for sport and you want to make it a challenge, then you can start giving yourself hindrances, I guess would be the way to say it.
Handicap.
Yeah, like handicap. I mean,
you're going to shoot arrows straight through the deer. That's the point. You want to get that.
Yeah,
you want to get that pass through. You want to get that complete pass through on the lungs or the heart. You know what I mean? So if you can put a 100 grain broadhead through the lungs, they call it the double lung shot for a reason. That deer isn't going anywhere. You know what I mean? I'm all about the ethical taking of the animal as quickly as possible because I want to get that meat back to my freezer. Like Jesse said, like my brother said, I want to get I want to have as much meat in my freezer. I want to maximize my opportunities for meat in the freezer at any point in time. I like the butchering and the carving of the animal.
That's the funnest part.
To me, that's the most. I like that. Seeing the animal up close
because you already won.
Yeah, breaking it down, having a celebratory beer with your buddies and everything like that. Yep. Like, yeah, check this out.
Taking that preacher meat, that tenderloin out, and cooking it up fresh.
Mm-hmm. Taking the preacher meat out, the tenderloin is the best. And the preacher meat, it's the best. For those of you who don't know, at least in some portions of Pennsylvania, the preacher meat is what they commonly refer to. The tenderloins is commonly referred to as the preacher meat because it was the meat that people would give to the preacher. I mean, this is a very old concept. Maybe it should come back. I don't know though. My preacher is kind of a legend. I went over to his office and was hanging out with him.
Probably got a bunch of.
Dude, the guy's a legend. You know what I mean? And he has a giant Euro mounted skull right there in the office. He has a knife in his pocket. He was a legendary wrestler for Penn State. He's a dad.
He's probably concealed carry all the time.
Probably he does. Yeah, he's concealed carry all the time. He's a complete legend. You know what I mean? I love the dude. Anywho,
Sparky, if you can't use your compound bow, you need to talk to us a little bit. I haven't been checking my instant messages on Instagram lately, but if you want to give us a little IG Instagram message, we can help you out with your bow.
yeah, absolutely.
Saucy says she didn't know that. Okay. On to the next thing.
On to the next thing. And this is, well, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's stream. Okay, we're 30 minutes in. I don't know how many people we have watching. We have 9 people watching, which isn't bad. We wanted to talk today.
Actually perfect.
It's actually perfect. Yeah, we have a small classroom. Fist bump. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so what we wanted to talk today about was the argument of empathy versus sympathy. Okay, and this isn't a, what's the word I'm looking for? This isn't an attack on anybody. This isn't a, I'm not trying to sound like I'm super smarter than anybody else or anything like that. But I just feel like sometimes empathy and sympathy, the empathy versus sympathy thing is, it's kind of can be misconstrued. Okay, so empathy is being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Okay, sympathy is the act is
Act of being in their shoes.
the act of putting yourself in their shoes and doing something about it, right? So like, take for instance a police officer. A police officer has a job. They have to enforce the law. Okay, now are there sometimes when people get themselves into situations outside of their control? I call it the Trailer Park Boys syndrome. You know what I mean? Where it's like, one thing started and it was supposed to be small, and then you had to do this to be able to make this happen, and you had to be able to do this to make this happen, so you could put those two things together. And
you want to do something good, but you got to do something bad to get there.
Right. And there's also 100 things that you weren't even intended to do that you had to do in order to make this one good thing happen, right? So even though that person gets themselves into that situation, they broke the law. A police officer should have empathy, right? Thank you, Sawson. I love that show too. Trailer Park Boys is awesome. The funny thing about Trailer Park Boys is that Bubbles is the smartest person inside. Is the smartest person in the trailer park, and no one gets it.
He's the sharpest dude in the park.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but so it's like having empathy. A police officer is going to have empathy for that person, or they should if they're a good police officer. Where they're like, "Hey, look, I understand what happened. You know what I mean? This is what you were trying to do. We ended up being here. You're breaking the law. That's not good." Now, empathy is being able to understand someone's position and be like, okay, look, this is the position that you're in now. Okay, this is what you can do to kind of fix your position from where you're at, fix yourself and improve your position. But sympathy would be, oh, well, I'm not going to arrest you, or I'm going to take you to, or I'm going to do whatever, do something outside of their bounds. Okay. So when is empathy good and when is empathy bad, and when's sympathy good and when's sympathy bad, right? So empathy is good pretty much if you don't have any sympathy or if you don't have any empathy whatsoever, you're a sociopath. Okay. So you need to have empathy. You need to be able to put yourself in somebody else's position. However, whenever people, and it's used by mass mind control media to manipulate and weaponize our empathy against us, against our own empathy's bad whenever you let it get weaponized against you. Take for instance, I know it's all over the news and it's the cool thing to talk about right now. We kind of did say that we were going to stay out of politics, but fuck it, here it is. Yeah. This whole Greta Thunberg thing, it's happened to us before. You know what I mean? If you let's say, look at the children. Remember in The Simpsons when that girl used to say, or the preacher's wife used to say, think about the children, think about the children. You know what I mean? Well, really think about the children. You know what I mean? Should we be listening to a 16-year-old girl who's not American and has no idea about economics and has clearly been manipulated by some kind of group to try to play on our empathy and make us do something that's against ourselves, right? So think about it. So empathy, sympathy, right? Think about the analogy that was used, and I'm give Big Bear credit whenever for this, but it's a good analogy. The movie. What movie was that? Silence of the Lambs. Okay, Silence of the Lambs. There's the Buffalo Bob pretends to be Buffalo Bill, Buffalo Bob, the bad guy, the killer, the serial killer, right? He ends up, he pretends like he's all hurt, and he's loading a sofa into the back of a van, right? So he's like on crutches with a broken leg and a broken arm or something like that. He's trying to load this.
By the way, I'm not Buffalo Bill.
He's not Buffalo Bill.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Weird. Anyway, so empathy is that person. And then what happens in the movie, right? The girl goes and helps the guy off. She gets into the back of the van, and then he just like slams it in the couch in there, uses that to pin, and then closes the door real quick. It's a bad scene. You know what I mean? So she started off doing something good. What happened was the killer in that movie ended up weaponizing her empathy against her, right? So the only thing that in that analogy that's empathy is what that girl, and she looks at this guy who's struggling to load a piece of furniture into the back of a piece of furniture into the back of the van, right? And just her being able to say, wow, that really must suck. I can imagine what it'd be like to be in that position. It must be pretty hard, right? There, but for the grace of God go I. Okay, that's empathy right there. Okay, whenever the bad guy in our analogy here uses that empathy, he used that empathy and weaponized it against her. Okay, so the sympathy and the excess weaponized empathy, the sympathy that this girl shows for this man is the actual act of going over. Okay, did she have to get herself into a position inside of that van? Did she have to? Did she have to give herself no escape? Did she have to give herself no way to defend herself? No. I mean, she could have called somebody. She could have gotten somebody else to do it. She could have set herself up for success.
She could have called from afar, from 50 yards away, and said, "Hey, do you need help? We can get somebody for you."
Right. But just walking by and saying "fuck that guy," you know what I mean, is probably wrong. You know what I mean? That's wrong. Just blowing right by in life, because you will miss out on you'll miss out on being a good person if you're just walking by people that are in bad situations and being unwilling to help. However, if you go against your own better judgment, and I've used this before, if you go against the tingle that you have inside of your own stomach, you know what I mean? Whenever you think to yourself, man, this is something just seems wrong about this, right? That's whenever, empathy, whenever somebody's negative intentions, when they weaponize your empathy against you and get you to do something out of sympathy,
weaponize your sympathy against you.
Well, they weaponize the empathy, but they use your sympathy against you.
There. Yeah. Okay.
Against you.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Okay.
Be smart about it. Yeah. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. We are blessed with a wonderful set of instincts, you know what I mean, in our lives that, from the Creator, that, lets us know when things are good and things are bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sparky, be smart about it. And I'll go on to my example.
Go ahead.
Okay, so whenever I've been an inspector now for coming up on 9 years, CWI, which is a certified welding inspector. And whenever my very first job as a CWI, I was working at a company that I had for like 2 weeks, I had a predecessor and a mentor that was a CWI. And I was coming off of being a welder. So I used to weld and have my welds inspected. Now I'm the guy inspecting the weld. So I was sitting in the office with the guy one day, and I said, man, there was this really tough weld that the guys were trying to make, and they kept messing it up, and I kept rejecting it. And I went up to the office, and I was tired from rejecting the weld. Like I was kind of fucked up about it a little bit. And I said, I don't even know if I could make that weld, and I'm a good welder. And I was like, how do I justify myself rejecting this all the time? And he's like, you can have empathy where you put yourself in their shoes and you understand how hard it is, but you absolutely cannot have sympathy. If you have empathy, you can coach them, you can guide them. But if you give them sympathy, and you pass the weld, then it all is on your shoulders after that. You're the one that signed off on the weld. So no matter how hard it is, no matter how much I know I couldn't do it myself, I still have to be an asshole and say, nope, do it again. Do it again.
Because it's the right thing to do. Because you know when it's the right thing to do. Empathy lets you be a good coach. Empathy lets you be a good mentor, be a good brother, be a good whatever.
Father.
Yeah, anything.
Husband.
Yes, anything.
Sister.
Be a good citizen.
Mom.
Yeah. But empathy lets you, but sympathy and you have to be able to recognize, remember, recognizing deceivers, recognizing the people that are trying to weaponize our empathy against us is what we're talking about. Sparky hit it right on the head.
Now,
be smart about it.
There's the same thing. Fast forward 6-7 years. I have had people try to pull the wool over my eyes in a shop situation where just because they can't do it, they try to mask it as if it has been done correctly. So okay, boom, empathy, sympathy, all that shit's out the window. We're done.
Now we're
fucking done. I am gonna fuck you with that code book until your eyeballs bleed.
Quote. I've heard him say it.
I've done it before. I don't want to be like that.
That is a direct quote. I just want everyone to know that was a direct quote.
All empathy, all sympathy, it's all done. We're done. We're done with the nice shit. You know what I mean? If somebody fucks you, don't let it happen again.
Absolutely. Well, right now we're at about 41 minutes. We have 7 people watching and 7 thumbs up. So at this point in time, I think it'd be pretty valuable to go ahead and throw out your shouts, your IG, Snapchat, everything.
Okay, you're not going to try to sell me like a slave?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Inspector. You can find me on Instagram at InspectorBear89. You can find me on Snapchat at InspectorBear89. You can find us at Dirty Mike and the Inspector at gmail.com if you want to email us with show ideas or if you just want to talk or anything like that. And I love you guys.
Cool. You can find me, like I said, on Instagram, Mike_Bison.
Mike Bison. Is it Mike Bison _5 or Mike?
Mike_Bison5.
Yeah.
Mike_Bison5 on Instagram, at Mike Bison4 on Twitter. I've been on a Twitter tear lately. I kind of never really got into Twitter that much, but now I'm kind of starting to get into it a little bit more. And
he's almost got me talked into getting a Twitter account.
He should get a Twitter account. Dirty Mike and the Naked Inspector. Yeah. And we actually kind of, the reason that we dropped the Dirty Mike thing was because people thought that I was Dirty Mike. I'm like, I'm not Dirty Mike. Like, I'm Mike Bison. You know
it's actually our nephew who's Dirty Mike.
Yeah, my nephew's Dirty Mike.
Weird.
It's weird. It's okay.
It's fine.
We'll figure it out. Honestly, I never thought anybody would want to. That's why I'm going with Wake Up Pennsylvania. I never really thought anybody would want to watch, but apparently they do. So I'm giving people, something every once in a while, maybe a weekend stream or early morning stream. My new schedule for work is that I work in the afternoon or the evening. So I have pretty much every morning free. Go ahead and hit the subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and we're
like it, share
it, do whatever you got to do. And we will definitely, we're going to be talking about hunting. We're going to be talking about fishing. I have a lake behind me. You guys can't see right now. Maybe I'll flash that for the people. Can the people see? Can the people see the lake?
Give the flag. Yep.
The lake's there?
There it is.
Yeah, the lake's there. I got a pretty righteous canoe. I don't know how, I don't really know why the canoe is so righteous. It just is. But we're going to be doing some fishing. We're going to be talking about hunting. We're going to be talking about other deep topics like empathy versus sympathy. If you have any questions, any comments, concerns, please let me know. And
if you want to tell us we're full of shit, please do.
Please do. I love to be told I'm full of shit. So, but just bring it with some rationale. Bring it with some, not gusto. bring some rationale behind it. I love a good argument. So, Jesse, you got anything else there, brother?
I've got nothing else except for to say, in honor of Pennsylvania, we're going to change the way we end our stream.
Okay. This has been Wake Up Pennsylvania with Mike Bison and my host or my guest, the inspector, telling you, remember your liberty, remember your virtue, and remember your freedoms.
Later.
Have a great Saturday, everyone. How do I go? End stream.